Good afternoon and welcome to your last session of this beautiful afternoon. I'm super excited to introduce to you students showcasing maximizing the impact of digital portfolios. And we have Chelsea Hawkins here to share. We are going to be learning how we could support our students. Success means all stakeholders come together to support all learners. Digital portfolios allows our students and educators to individualize learning, illustrate creativity, and showcase unique skills and knowledge. Wakelet can support school or district initiatives to lead students in reflective and real-world learning. Attendees will learn how to implement the Wakelet Student Ambassador Program, the Wakelet Student Certified Course, and how to guide students through the creation of their own customized digital portfolio. This session will help you prepare your students for jobs that do not exist yet in the future of their resume. So I'm super excited to introduce Chelsea and Wakelet, and I know we have some ambassadors in the house as well, so it's all yours.
All right, awesome. I am going to drop in the chat. Hopefully this is good. It's just a little get to know you Google Doc in there, so you can add your name. You can add a little GIF or something fun about you, just kind of see who's all in the room. I am Chelsea Hawkins. I'm a Wakelet ambassador, but I'm also a Wakelet certified trainer. So I'm super excited to be here with you today. So I'm going to give you a second to jump into that while I share my screen. All right. Awesome. And I see some of y'all jumping in that Google Doc already. Thank you for doing that. So if you'll just add your name, job title, maybe a photo or a GIF of your dream job as a kid. We love those questions that are there because sometimes people pop in some of the greatest things that you wouldn't really think about. We've seen some really great GIFs come in. So again, just thank you for introducing yourself. While everyone kind of takes a minute to jump in, sometimes we have stragglers come in the room. So that's always a good minute to get everybody gathered together before we start jumping into Wakelet and looking at digital portfolios. All right. Music specialist, government teacher, love that. Tech and computer science. Art teacher. Some of y'all are jumping way down. I love it. Science. A singer or an actress on Broadway. I love that, Kate. That's awesome. I would love to be a singer and actress on Broadway too, but I don't think I can sing very well. Unless I'm in the car at church, and then I certainly don't mind just belting it out anytime I can. Other people around me may not like it, but. All right, I'm going to let y'all continue doing that. I'm going to jump into my presentation and just kind of show you the odds and ends and everything that's there. There is a bit.ly link at the end where you can have my Wakelet collection and just be able to go back and jump into it and kind of see everything that's there for you. I know this is your last session of the day, I believe, so I don't want to waste your time. So I'm going to flip on over so that you can see my Wakelet collection. So this is, again, maximizing the impact of digital portfolios, of course, using Wakelet to do that. So our goals for today, just some things to think about as we're going along. First, of course, if you don't know, I want you to know what is Wakelet when you leave, but then also, why would you want to use Wakelet for portfolios, and how can we get those students using Wakelet? So short introduction for me, I am an instructional technologist at Seminole Junior High in Seminole, Texas. It is an itty bitty tiny town out in West Texas. I don't think we're known for much of anything because we are so small. I was telling Heidi earlier, there's not much here except for some dirt and some wind. We're very good at getting wind. But I have been a part of Wakelet for a long time, just jumping from being Wakelet certified to member to leader to ambassador. Now, just graciously am blessed to be able to say I'm a Wakelet certified trainer. My school last year, we jumped on and we started the Wakelet school program. We are a Wakelet certified school. My students, we jumped in and had about, I think we had maybe 12 finish the Wakelet Student Ambassador Program. And then Tish wasn't able to make it today, but Tish, this is a great story for us. I am actually from the same hometown as Tisha Poncio. So she is a Wakelet digital learning specialist, and she's been with them for quite a while now. But just random story, we actually just came together last year, and I'm from her same hometown. So that was a great mixing story for us to be able to work together and share that connection. All right, so let's look at Wakelet. Hopefully you've heard of Wakelet. Heidi said there's some other Wakelet ambassadors in the room, so I absolutely love that. But just in case you don't know what Wakelet is, I just want to show you this, and hopefully we have some sound.
I like to think
There
about
we go.
it is take
Wakelet
5
in
minutes
5
just to show you
minutes.
what the Wakelet platform is and how you can use it to achieve some really, really cool things. So what is Wakelet? Well, the way that I like to think about it is imagine Pinterest, but instead of just images, Wakelet allows you to capture, organize, and save any kind of content that you find on the web. So instead of just images, we're talking videos, social media posts, blogs, resources, anything with a URL, and of course, any content that you create yourself. So hopefully in the next 5 minutes, you're going to discover how to create your very first Wakelet collection and how you can go about sharing it with your community and your network. So when you first sign up to Wakelet, you're going to be in your home area. Now, your home area is the area where you can create collections. Now, when you first sign up to Wakelet, you are going to end up in your home area. And your home area is where all of the magic happens. Your home area is where you create collections. It's where you can navigate through spaces that you've created. And it's where you can search and explore for other collections created on Wakelet as well. So this will be completely blank for you. But as you can see, I've got a bunch of collections that I've made over the years. Now, creating a collection is really, really easy. You just head over here and click this button. Now, once I'm in this new collection area, you'll see that I've got prompts there to give my collection a title, a description, and then if we head over to this button here, this opens up the design menu. So I can actually choose a cover image, I can choose a layout and a background image as well, but we'll just come to that later. For now, what I want to do is create a collection of resources for people who are interested in getting better at basketball. So what I can do now is I can start populating this collection with resources that I have handpicked from around the web. That's a really important part about Wakelet. You're not just adding random things to the collection, you're adding meaningful content that you have handpicked for your audience. Now, the great part about Wakelet is that you can paste literally any link into this box here, and it's going to embed it, and it's going to add it really, really beautifully into a Wakelet collection. Way, way more engaging than, say, just a list of hyperlinks. So if I head over to YouTube, let's say I found a video, which I think is a really, really cool way of getting better at basketball, I can literally head up to the URL, copy it, head back to Wakelet, and when I paste this in, it's actually going to paste the YouTube video right into the Wakelet collection. And if I click play, it's going to play that video directly in line. Now, the same thing applies for any link on the web, as I said. So let's say if I've got this local basketball club in Manchester, which I wanted to join or maybe watch a few of their games, the same thing happens here. I can just go ahead, copy and paste. Let's say I found some more tips as well here from a website that shows some awesome dribbling, shooting, transition skill tips. Same thing applies. Head to the URL, copy, paste it in, and let Wakelet do the rest. Now, another really cool part about Wakelet is context. You can add context to any one of these links that you save. So rather than just leaving it how it is, let's say I wanted to change the context and the narrative of this link. I can click this button here, click the edit button, and then change this to something really contextual. So try these first. That way, I'm adding context to this link. And remember, I can reorder these links however I like as well. Now, on top of just saving links, we also have a really cool bunch of integrations that you can use on Wakelet. I can add text as well. I can bring up images, and I can add an image from Canva. I can choose a GIF. I can choose some really beautiful high definition images from the Unsplash library as well. So if I just search for basketball there, we'll bring up some really cool pictures that I can use. And I can use those for cover images if I wanted to. I can also add from my bookmarks, so I can add content that I've previously saved onto Wakelet. I can upload PDFs. If you click this button here, it brings up a whole bunch of integrations where you can add content from really, really easily as well. That's it. Now, once you've finished fleshing out your collection and adding some content that you think is going to be useful for either you or your audience, then you can go ahead and add a few little flourishes, like a cover image. Let's choose from Giphy this time. I can make that half so it takes up less space, and I can also choose the layout of my collection. Now, this is a really important part of Wakelet as well, which is choosing how you're going to actually visually show the content that you've added to your collection. So we've got 5 different views for you here. Media is the view which I'm using now that shows everything the way that it should be. So videos will look like videos, images will look like images. It's really good for storytelling as well. Compact allows you to kind of create like a list of links, if you would, if you don't want to take up too much space. Grid view is really good for creating comparisons between 2 different pieces of content. Mood board is organized chaos, really beautiful looking, kind of really visually engaging board view. And columns allows you to create columns where you can add lots of different content in each column and then scroll through them. We're going to keep it at media for now. And that's it. Once I've created my collection, I can now share this with whoever I want by clicking this button right here. And now I've got a bunch of really cool ways that I can share my collection. I can either share it through a link, a QR code, I can embed it into an LMS or my own blog or a website. I can share it on Google Classrooms, Microsoft Teams. And the really cool part is I can actually invite anybody who I want to come and collaborate within this collection with me. They don't even need a Wakelet account to do it. And I do that by heading to this area here, where I've got a whole bunch of ways that I can invite people to actually come along and collaborate on this collection with me. And that's it. That's how you create collections on Wakelet. It's really, really easy to do. And remember, you don't have to always share your collections. A lot of my collections are private. They're just for me. So for example, I went on holiday a few months back and I planned my entire journey on Wakelet. I was very lucky enough to go to Santorini. I'd recommend it. It's absolutely beautiful. And I managed to plan every single day of my stay on Wakelet. So I've got my itinerary here. This is what I'm doing on Friday. This is what I'm doing on Saturday. I've got my reservations, the restaurants which I want to go to, the places where I want to travel. I've even got a Google map in there just to show me the route to a beach that I wanted to visit. And if I'm planning on taking this trip with other people, I can just send them an invite code and then they can click on the invite code and start adding places that they want to visit to as well. So we're planning it all together. There really are endless possibilities to the ways that you can get the most out of the Wakelet platform. Just lastly as well, there's an awesome exploration element to the Wakelet platform as well, being able to discover collections that other really passionate people have put together. So I'd always recommend hitting the search and explore button regularly if you're looking for some inspiration or you're looking for some resources. So that basketball collection that I was just putting together, well, I found a basketball coach on Wakelet, and his profile is stacked to the brim with way better collections than that. So that's it. I hope that you've enjoyed this very, very quick look into how Wakelet can help you. This is literally just the tip of the iceberg. I've only shown you maybe a handful of ways that you can use Wakelet. The possibilities really are endless. My advice would be create an account, dive in, create your first collections on things which you find very, very interesting or things that you're passionate about, and then just go from there. I'm going to be back throughout the rest of the year to give you a bunch of awesome.
Okay, I'm going to pause that there. I love that just brief, simple explanation of what Wakelet is, how you can use it, just even in just your personal life. But now we want to look at why Wakelet in education. What are some different ways that we can look at it? And then we're going to jump right into digital portfolios and then even touch on the Student Ambassador Program, Student Certified Program. So this is one of my favorite graphics, the amazing ways to use Wakelet. And I would say that it's one of my favorites just because it shows the simple versatility of this program. So we're looking at it. How can we use Wakelet? What could we use it for? From pre-K all the way up to personal use, staff use, university use. It really is endless. I love Mizba's video because it shows just simple things like trying to be a better basketball player to planning your trip and your vacation. I know that I personally, I have what I call my collection is wifey list. So my wifey list collection, I share with my husband, and then throughout the year, when I find things that I like, I add links or pictures to, because if you're married, you'll know that sometimes husbands are not so good at remembering what you want for gifts, and then you get crazy things for gifts. So I actually use that as a personal thing. I have a wifey list collection, and I add things throughout the year that I would enjoy getting for a gift, no matter what the season or holiday or occasion is. So let's look at some ways for Wakelet in education. Some of the different things that I see just glancing at this graphic that I really love. Easy, meet the teacher, right? I'm introducing myself to someone new, whether I'm a pre-K to 8th grade teacher or whether I'm a principal. That's just a great way to introduce yourself to new people. You can make a quick collection about yourself. It could be totally professional. It could be half professional, half personal. You get to decide what you want to add on there. Looking at the high school column, some of my favorite ways to use Wakelet in that high school column. One for sure is going to be lesson plans. Not only just lesson plans, but what about sub plans? I'm gone for the day, something has happened, and I need to send that out. I can send that out as a Wakelet collection because it's just a link, or maybe it's even just a QR code that I've sent and I need them to pull that up for me. Looking at the university column, some of the things that I love in there, professional development and portfolios is in there. And we're going to jump into that in just a second. For staff and educators, looking in that column, again, some of the things that I love in there is staff sharing resources. Some of our staff members have collections, just for the 7th grade reading group because I'm at the middle school. So maybe they have a collection for Unit 1, or maybe they have a collection just for poetry, and they can add in these things to share and collaborate with each other. Again, so that their email doesn't get bogged down, or maybe they're not able to come together and plan all the time. We do once a week PLCs, but maybe I'm afraid I'm going to forget that by the time we get to that PLC. So having that staff collaboration, being able to share resources with each other through Wakelet collections. And then personal use, we've kind of talked about some of those before, but I also love to see business microsites. Maybe you have a hobby and you need a business microsite for that, or even just sharing recipes in scrapbooks. There's just so many different ways for this program. All right, digital portfolios. So again, just a little bit of background on me. Before I jumped into instructional technology, I taught 8th grade tech apps. And so at our campus, that was only a semester long, and our 8th graders have to take it. So it's like a required elective that they have to take. And we have all these TEKs and things that we have to cover, but also towards the end of the year, it would be about March or April that I found that we had to plan in the state, and I'm in Texas. So in the state of Texas, you have to plan as an 8th grader, you have to plan out your entire high school career. They have to pick a path. They have to know what classes they want to take. They can change and kind of divert from that plan. But just knowing, especially as a mom and as a teacher, that an 8th grader needed to plan all this out was a lot. So after my first year in the classroom and working through that, I really found that kids don't know what a resume is. They don't know what a portfolio is. They don't know what a GPA is, most of them, and they don't know what colleges are available to them. So something that I really jumped into was looking at bringing in some of those things, reaching out to colleges and asking them to send items to our kids, asking kids to look at their overall grade and their average, and hey, let's find out how you can do your GPA by yourself. And what does a GPA mean? How much does college cost? There were just so many things that just were not taught, ever mentioned really. But then also just hearing that word resume just kind of made them freak out, and they kind of panicked as 8th graders and just thought, I don't need a resume, Ms. Hawkins. I'm not getting a job yet. And I just thought, man, I really need to get this into them, that knowing all these things now and being able to build a portfolio now, how awesome would that be by the time they're done with high school, that they have this stack of things that they can already say, I'm really good at this. I really know how to do this. I've got practice here. I have all these hobbies. I have all these accolades. And just knowing that if they can keep up with that now, how much better will it be once we get to the end of our junior, senior year, and we're looking at colleges, we're looking at getting a job, and it's not so stressful and it's not so brand new. And so digital portfolios kind of became more of a passion. There's a great Google Applied Digital Skills on how to do a resume, but you still have to know what to fill in all those spots, because when you're asking kids what their skills are, they're like, well, I don't think I have any skills. And then you have to dive into all these different topics of what is a skill? Well, you know more than one language. That's really awesome. Not everybody knows more than one language. So let's write these things down too. So just looking at resumes, CVs, portfolios in a different light has just been eye-opening for me. It was really eye-opening for our 8th graders. And so it's just something that I really think, no matter the age, it's something to talk about and preach about. So let's look at digital portfolios. This first graphic says portfolios for all. And I love this because not every kid goes to college. Not every kid is the GT kid. Not every kid is the band kid. But guess what? Portfolios can be for everybody. And so looking at this graphic, just looking at that career and technical education, these are the kids that have awesome skills. These are the kids that, maybe they're really good at welding already. They're a sophomore in high school and they're already working on the weekends, and they have all this that they're already practicing and doing. Just telling those kids, hey, let's go ahead and make a portfolio for that. Take a picture while you're working, take a picture when you're done, and then using Wakelet to store all of those things. And then by the time they do graduate from high school, or by the time they do go to look for a welding job, they have this amazing portfolio of all the things that they've already practiced. Maybe they're just in these CTE classes during school, but they can still use all that knowledge. They can write it down in a Wakelet collection. They can take pictures and add those in. They can do videos and add those in. At the next column says English language learners. So looking at those too. I love the written work and samples essay because they could type directly into the platform, or maybe I'm taking a picture of something that I did, and then I'm just uploading it into the platform. Maybe it's a PDF of something that I did in class, and I can upload that PDF into my Wakelet collection for my portfolio. The next column, looking at RTI, gifted students. Again, it doesn't matter what kind of student you are. Portfolios are for everybody. Athletics, band, extracurricular activities. You've got kids that maybe they've been in the newspaper. Tell them to save that newspaper article. Again, taking a picture of it is a great way to save it. But the problem with it becomes even for our 8th graders, they have all these accolades, all these things that they're doing, but they don't have any way to organize them. So that's why using a Wakelet collection to organize those portfolios is going to help keep up with all of those items. This next link that's on here is actually just a blog written by Misbah talking about why CVs or resumes may be dead, and then long live the digital portfolio. It's not very long, but he says the brief and boring history of the resume, which I like. But I took the thing that I thought stood out the most to me was something that he said in that blog, and it was around 60% of employer rates skills like communication, collaboration, and creativity amongst the top priorities when recruiting new talent. I know a lot of times we like to call things like that soft skills, right? We're trying to help these students build those soft skills. A lot of them aren't very good at communicating. They aren't very good at collaborating. We're kind of all stuck in our own bubble, and maybe they're not being told that creativity is okay. And so creating these digital portfolios help them to kind of come alive in those ways and show their personality better than just a one-page resume with a couple of words on it. Continuing his quote, it says, funny as these are the kinds of things that are more and less impossible to demonstrate on a text-based CV or a resume. A digital portfolio, however, allows you to display these soft skills in a number of creative and innovative ways, perfect for leaving a good impression. So a lot of times, especially me growing up, you hand in a resume. It's a white piece of paper with some black letters on it. But guess what? Everyone else is handing in that same white piece of paper with some black letters on it. It needed to be a one-page resume, no longer, or that's bad. Now with digital portfolios, it kind of gives everyone a way to show their skills, show their personality, show their creativity, and then also show that innovation, show that you have that work ethic to put in a little bit more effort into your portfolio and whatever your goals are. So student portfolios with Wakelet. I have some great examples in here. I'm going to go ahead and open this student portfolio example collection. All right. And this is Tish's, these are some of her former students. This is just a Wakelet collection that she made. Hers is just organized a little bit differently. That's another thing I love about Wakelet is there's different organizing options. So here are some of the kids that she worked with. They went through the Student Ambassador Program with her. One of my favorite ones is this one. This is Julie's resume and portfolio. So I absolutely love the way that she did hers. It's very simple. But it's also kind of artistic, and I'm sure it says something more about her personality. So she has her resume down here at the bottom. It's a picture of her resume. It's nice, it's crisp, it's clean, it's clear, but it also still looks professional. It has a little bit of color. It has her picture, but I absolutely love it. It's way better than, 30 years ago, Chelsea, that had to hand in a paper that looked like it came out of a typewriter. And then going up, I'm going to go back up to her Wakelet. And this is her Wakelet portfolio. So these are all of her collections that she has made for the public to see. So these are all published collections. So this is something that she wanted everyone to see. She was one of the students that she actually, there we go, cakes, macarons. She had her own cooking business. You can add some of the things that you did in high school. There we go. And then the Student Ambassador Program. So those are the collections that she made in order to complete the Student Ambassador Program. She has digital portfolios here. So she has one for her resume, one for videos, and then one for graphics. So again, I'm not just sticking to one portfolio. I have many things that I could do. I'm sure she could have another digital portfolio just for the cakes and bakery type things that she does. So maybe I'm a student who has multiple tasks or multiple talents, and I'm not trying to stick everything on one page. I've got a different portfolio for each page. All right, I'm going to jump back over. Dun, dun, dun. All right, and why student portfolios in Wakelet? So that just secures that portfolio. It's engaging, it's accessible. Because Wakelet collections are shared out with a link, it's super easy to give to anyone. Again, I can share out a Wakelet collection with a QR code. So that's another option for me. Maybe I have a regular resume, but I also add that QR code for my digital portfolio. It just inspires creativity and it helps build your students' future. They all have different hopes and dreams and goals and personalities. And so being able to create a portfolio for them and just giving them some ownership of that is just going to help them out even more. They're taking ownership in it. They're building it themselves. They're really trying to focus on what's important. What do I think other people want to see? What's going to help me get to those goals? Here's another one from Honora. This is another, there we go, girl who has her resume, her contact information, social media management, achievements, music, school, and then her Wakelet Ambassador things that she went through. All her collections are there. I absolutely love the fact that the entire profile, all of her headers all look the same on her collection, because on those published collections, it just makes it look so much nicer. So I can't imagine that her handing over a link to her Wakelet profile to somebody and somebody not noticing just how beautiful, and it's kind of monochromatic, but it still shows me how creative she is just by looking at all the different icons that she used up at the top. So I absolutely love showing hers. This one, when I hand you the collection, oh, there it is. This one is one of my former 8th graders. Her name is Britt, and she was someone who went through our Wakelet Student Ambassador Program, and I absolutely saw her flourish and shine. So just giving her something to jump onto and saying, hey, go out, do the Student Ambassador Program, come up with your collections, and let's go through this together. They had to go through it and show me when they got done. It was something that she just kind of took off with. She didn't even know that she had all those creative skills. It was something that she said, okay, I'll try it. And she's, very tech savvy. So jumping into a new program like Wakelet wasn't difficult for her, but she wasn't nervous or scared about it. She jumped through and she went through all of them. It was super fun, but then she came back, and one of the things that they have to do in the Student Ambassador Program is make a portfolio. And so she came in and she added her Wakelet Student Ambassador collections, but then she also added in her resume, and she is an avid Canva lover, aren't we all? And so she made her 8th grade, this is her 8th grade resume. And so for me, I think it's a little busy, but for her, it is fantastic, because again, we're looking at a new world where it's not just using a typewriter. It's not just a one piece of white paper. So this was what she came up with for her resume as an 8th grader. Some of the things that she's been involved in, and some of them it takes a minute for them to remember. What am I involved in? What do I do? So again, just starting this now as 8th graders and then moving forward, then being able to add to it and keep up with it in a Wakelet collection just makes that digital portfolio even better. Because sitting down as a junior or a senior in high school and trying to remember what all have I done in high school is rather difficult. So if we start them even in 8th grade and then they're able to move on, it just makes that process a lot easier for them. Because looking at colleges and what is my, job going to be after I graduate high school and where am I going to go? What am I going to do? That's already stressful. So if we give them a good ground to stand on, then it's not so nerve-wracking and scary. And they can also start to plan those things out. So this was her resume that I loved. And then she also added in some different projects. She's got science projects in here. She has reading projects in here. She has I loved this one, the Sweet Tooth Bakery. This was in tech apps. So the new tech apps teacher had them get in groups. They had to come up with a business, and then they had to come up with a presentation and give their presentation over their business. So that was something that she really liked. And she thought, you know what, I like baking and cooking, and then maybe I could have my own business. So not only was this something that she wanted to put on her portfolio as having made this Canva presentation, but it was also something that she thought, well, maybe this could be my business too. And so just putting that bug in their ear as early as possible, letting them look at these things, letting them think about it. That's what digital portfolios are for. And then again, using Wakelet. Wakelet embeds and works and syncs and links and all the things with all the digital tools that you're probably already using. Again, the ease of use with Wakelet and then the versatility is what just makes it a step above everything else. So these are digital tools that you probably are already using yourself. Your students are probably already using. And so being able to integrate those very flawlessly and easily with just a couple of clicks into Wakelet is going to make those digital portfolios just pop and stand out better than anything else. I also have for you here a Wakelet template for digital portfolios and resumes. So again, at the end, I'm going to give you my bit.ly link, and then you'll be able to jump into this and look at it. And then this is just a template. It's a Wakelet ready-made template, and it already has different sections broken in for you. There's already some instructions up here at the top. It tells you what to do, and then it gives students a way to start. You jump in and look at education, school, subject, grades. They can think about work experience. So again, I'm taking that resume and boring CV and I'm turning it into an amazing digital portfolio. And this is simplified. This is just text and some emojis, but imagine what it's going to look like whenever they put a background on it, when they put a cover picture on it, when they start to add in their own images in there. It's really going to take off and start to look more like a digital portfolio. But again, we're going to start this as early as possible, letting them go ahead and fill it in. It's something that I keep up with. Every time I have a new accolade, I have a new job, I have a new skill or a new task, I can just come back here and add it in. And then again, by the end, it's going to look super simple, but it's going to be amazing too. All right, I also have an extra link in here for you. This is a webinar from a little while ago that Tish did on student portfolios. It's, I want to say maybe 30-ish minutes long, so I'm not going to show it to you, but when you get my bit.ly, you can come back and watch that one. Again, because it's about student portfolios, I'm building a better future for your learners. So now I want to switch a little bit and then jump into the Student Ambassador Program. So the Student Ambassador Program, again, I talked about it a little bit. It's all teacher ran. I am not in the classroom. I'm an instructional technologist. But when we looked at wanting to be a Wakelet school, we also needed to do the Student Ambassador Program. And so for me, what I did was I grabbed my broadcasting news team sponsor and my student council sponsor. And I said, I need a small group of kids that I can work with, but I also need other team members to help me out because I'm not in the classroom and you guys have these kids. So we have a class that's about 30 minutes long every day. And these kids go to their student council or they go to their broadcasting news team group. And so what we did is we used those kids to be our student ambassadors because they're kind of the leaders on our campus anyway. So what better way to give them something more to do than to just use those leaders? They already wanted that. They already wanted to be leaders on our campus. So we gave them a new task and they shined and flourished. So the Student Ambassador Program through Wakelet is built, ready-made. You can kind of tailor it to your needs. Again, I'm not in the classroom and I was able to do it. If I was in the classroom and still teaching tech apps, I think I would have probably used it on all of them. Or maybe even just picked a handful of kids within each class period to try it out on to see how it works. We kind of started small. We were a small school anyways, but we started small just to see how things would go. And the great part about it is every time that we posted about one of our student ambassadors on our school social media page, we had kids asking, we had parents asking, what is that? How do I do that? What are they doing? That looks so awesome. I want to get my kid involved in that. And then when we got through with our students, the great part is just seeing the confidence that the Student Ambassador Program gave them. It gave them something new to be a leader in, but it also gave them some new skills. And really all of their confidence was something that all three of us as sponsors noticed in all of our student ambassadors. So looking at this program, it's really easy to do. You can enroll your students. They'll ask for a number. You don't have to stick to a complete direct number. Maybe you just know a range of numbers. And I think I said we were going to try for 20. Wakelet doesn't say, oh, well, you didn't meet your 20. So you can just kind of stick to your range of numbers for that. They'll complete their tasks. They have tasks and modules, but each module is a collection for the students to make. So like the first one is more of an about me collection. So there's a whole collection of instructions already made for your students. You send it out to them. You can send it to them, email or LMS, however you communicate with your students. And then they can kind of go through it at their own pace and at your own pace. And then you get to reward them along the way. And so for our Student Ambassador Program, each time they completed a module or had a great collection, I would print out a certificate for them. And then I also paid them in cupcakes because junior high kids, they work for cupcakes. Really, they would work for like a piece of bubble gum, but I tried to go a little bit further than that and gave them a cupcake. So just rewarding them along the way, again, because this was extra work throughout their time and their day, but they made the effort and they really enjoyed it. And so that was just something different and fun for us to do. I'm going to check the chat. That's a good question. It said, would it be possible for the Student Ambassador Program to be used as an elective? I think that would be a great option. Again, if I was the tech apps teacher and I was teaching computers, that could be something that was, something that we did for a couple of weeks. I don't think it's anything that could be drawn out over a long period of time because there's only a few modules and a few collections that have to be made. But I also want to show you the Student Certified Program. So that could be another thing that you add in there too. But that's an awesome question. I love that. You have this whole site here, again, for you to look at. You can click enroll, be ready to start, enroll your kids. It's just a super simple little, there we go, little quiz. It says it takes 2 minutes. It probably takes less than that. But again, one of the things that I really love about that Student Ambassador Program is you get to tailor it to you. So you get to take as much time on it as you want or as little time on it as you want. You could tell your students, okay, for module 1, that first collection that's about me, I want you to be done in 2 weeks, right? And give them some time. You can set the criteria for what they have to have on it. It needs to have a header picture. It needs to have a background. There's already a couple of things on there, like you have to have 15 items on that first collection, but you could make it even more than that and add more into it. All right, here are some student ambassadors. There we go. Again, this is one of Tisha's examples from when she did this with some of her students. So looking at her students and looking at, there we go. So the first one for the Student Ambassador Program is going through the C's. So the first one is curation. So it says meet the student ambassadors. So these were their first collections. And they're all about me. So again, I have that top cover picture, and then this one isn't done in my normal stream version. This one's done in more of a grid or brick version. And so these are all the items, adding in pictures or just adding in text. So that's where I say you get to tailor that to you. You can say, you know, oh, you have to have 3 pictures or more than that. You have to have certain links. You have to have this amount of text, but really the requirement was, I think 15. So again, if you wanted to up that, if you were using it for class or as an elective, that would be an awesome option. There we go. The next one is critical thinking. And so they have to pick 2 sides of an argument. And I got some really good ones on this last year. A couple of them, you know, were some basics like dogs are better than cats, which there was some good argument in there. I had one really good one that was digital work versus paperwork. And so is it better to do everything online, or is it better to go back and do things old school, like just paper and pencil? So that was a really great one. I love that one too. And then we had one that led to great debate when I came to talk about it and hand out the cupcake. And it was, is Pizza Hut better than Domino's? And so again, if you know anything about middle school students, it's all about food. And so we had some really great debate there on whether or not Pizza Hut was better than Domino's. But then it also got nitpicky in there. You know, well, they're breadsticks and they're garlic knots, but we still had some great discussion over it. But just they get to pick their topic. Of course, their school appropriate topic, but they get to pick their topic in that. Let's move on to some more creativity. They get to come up with a Wakelet flag. And so they kind of get to look at all the things that they've already learned and heard and seen on their modules and the videos and the instructions and come up with their own flag. And then they also have to tell you why they did that. And so just letting them be creative, but then also hearing their justification for it was something that I felt was really great. And our kids really needed that. They're strong in wanting to do new things, but maybe not in justifying why they did those things. So again, just leading to some great discussion. Some collaboration. So those are playlists. So they get to go through and do playlists. You can add in words, you know, for your favorite song. We had some that just had YouTube clips or songs. Some of them did collaborate with each other, or they would just put, you know, this is George's favorite song, and then add that in for the YouTube video. So those playlists were always good to look at too. And then communication. So they're looking at a student choice presentation. And again, they choose their school topic that they want to make their collection on. So they're going through that. And when they're done, you get to hand them over this beautiful rainbow looking student ambassador badge to them. And we don't use emails at our school. And so really, I just made them certificates. I printed them up in Canva, you know, on our school computer and handed those out to them. Our high school does use email, so they could give them the badges for them to use on their email badges. You could print out, you know, little tiny badges to put them somewhere. But we just went with certificates and of course paid them in cupcakes. But our students that actually finished the program, we finished around November. And so we actually ended up having a chicken nugget party. They got tired of having pizza parties, so I paid them in chicken nuggets. And this is one of my student ambassadors from this past year. This is Addie, and it's a super short clip, but I want to show you what she says because I think it's so powerful to hear from kids. How did doing the program help you prepare for the future beyond school?
This program prepared me for the future just by including me in more leadership.
And I loved hearing that from Addie because Addie is so sweet and she's so quiet. And her thing is band, and she loves band because she gets to be a part of something, but she's not the lead in something. And so hearing her say that it gave her an opportunity to lead was so powerful for me because she wasn't going to be somebody who's going to steal the microphone and want to talk at a pep rally or in front of a large audience. But just hearing that gave her a chance to be a leader was super powerful for me. So I love the Wakelet Student Ambassador Program, even if it's just for that, but it does so much more. So some of the other student programs, trying to wrap up quickly, there's a student certified course. So maybe if you're not ready to just jump on into the student ambassador, the student certified course is a little bit quicker. They can go in. There we go. And you've got 3 modules to go through. They'll take their test. And then when they get done, they again will get this cute little student certified badge. And if you're like us and you don't have, middle schoolers use an email, you could always print them out a certificate or something for that. And then of course there's instructions for teachers. So that's another thing that I just love about Wakelet is that all the things are made ready to go. You really don't have to do much, but just kind of moderate and make sure that it's all going the way that it's supposed to. So that's just another option for you. Maybe if you're not ready to jump into this Student Ambassador Program, but also doing the Student Certified course is a great way to get them started on Wakelet and then jumping into digital portfolios. So then you say, okay, we're all ready to go. We know how to use Wakelet. Everybody is great. We're Wakelet certified. We know the ins and outs of the program and using the collections. Now let's jump into digital portfolios. So it's also a great way to just introduce the program. And then I did have somebody ask earlier about Wakelet for school districts. So there is free, pro, and Education Pro versions. So if you're interested in any of that, there's actually a feedback form that I'm going to give you in just a second. And you can actually put that on there too, that you're interested in hearing more about it. And so this is just a brief little page here that kind of just shows the district dashboard. You will get insights and analytics if you were able to jump in. And then again, Education and Education Pro. So there we go. There are ways for you to get it for your district. And I want to give you that. Okay, so now I have my feedback form. I need to give you that. So let me throw that in the chat for you. Make sure it goes in. Okay. So if you will fill that out, it's kind of brief, but let me show you the most important part. It says best contact email. So they add Wakelet. They have way more than I do. I have a couple of stickers and some lanyards, but if you will put in a good email there, we are going to pick, I don't even know how many. There's only 11 of you in here. So maybe I could even say like, hey, let's send 11 because that would be awesome. But we'll see what they say. So put in your best contact email there. They do have swag bags that they want to hand out for you for joining us, for attending and being here, and especially for filling out that form for me. So put in a good email there. I will for sure reach out and let everyone at Wakelet know that I think everybody should get a swag bag, but we'll see what they say. But for sure, fill out that feedback form for me and then fill in your best email that's there so that you can be entered in to get that Wakelet swag bag, because that would be awesome. And then I just want to say thank you. And so again, I'm going to give you this bit.ly at the bottom here in just a second so that you can have this Wakelet collection. I have my Wakelet public profile there. So any of my collections that are public are there for you to look at and use and come back to. And then here's some of my information. So how you can find me on X or on Twitter is CJ__Hawkins. And then also on TikTok and Instagram, I'm at Hawkins Help. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And there's the bit.ly for you right there at the end. Are there any questions? I answered a few along the way.